I went from 0 to 10,000 monthly listeners, I have millions of streams on streaming platforms, and I have 50,000 followers on TikTok. In this video, I'm gonna show you how I did that without spending a dime. When I first started making music at 17, I didn't really have a goal of even putting it out for the world to hear. I was just playing guitar and trying to make music just because I enjoyed it. But eventually, after I had made some music and I had this collection of songs, I just felt like the natural next step was to put it out into the world because I felt very happy with what I had done. So I went on DistroKid, I uploaded my music, and nobody listened to it. Very quickly, I realized that nobody was gonna hear my music if I did not promote it in some way. So after watching hundreds of hours of YouTube videos and scrolling through social media to see what other artists were doing, I finally posted my first TikTok, and it got less than 100 views. It was awful. But even though it got less than 100 views, I still noticed that my monthly listeners went up on Spotify by like 5. And that's when I realized my content sucks, and I still had people convert over to monthly listeners. So it got me thinking, what would happen if my content rocked? So from that point on, I dove in every single day and tried to make better and better content. And I'll be honest with you, it was cringy and terrible and horrible at the beginning. And the thing is, you can still scroll all the way back on my TikTok and see everything that I posted. You can see and tell that I had absolutely no idea what I was doing. Here's 3 things that I learned from going from 0 to 10,000 monthly listeners and 0 to 50,000 TikTok followers. The number one thing I learned is it is so important to release consistently. Especially at the very beginning when you don't have any music out there, putting as much music on the platform as you possibly can is so important. It just makes making content way easier when you have more songs to promote. So for a little while, I was releasing a song a few times a month, maybe once a month. I mean, I was releasing quite often. And because I was releasing so often, I had a consistent influx of content that I can make, which leads to the next thing that I did, which was I released TikToks constantly. Like I said before, most of them were terrible, but I was releasing all the time, and I was constantly trying to get better at doing it. For a while, they all sucked, and then I started having a couple of glimmers of hope throughout it. I'd have one video get to 1,000 views, and my mind was blown. Genuinely, I don't know if I've ever felt more famous than that one moment where that video went from 0 to 1,000 views. I think it like stalled out at like 1,200, but still, it blew my mind. And again, it was moments like that that made the cringiness of everything I was doing so worth it. Especially when I could see those videos convert into listeners on Spotify. Now again, at the time, I was still under 100 monthly listeners on Spotify, but it was just reinforcing in my mind that this was absolutely possible. Let's pause really quick, then I'll let you go back to the video. If you're a musician and you're trying to grow your audience, find people to collaborate with, and you want to compete in fun song challenges every month, I just started a free Skool community called Music Artist Growth Lab for musicians just like you. This is the official YouTube channel of that Skool community. If that sounds like something that you want to be a part of, the link is in the description. I hope to see you in there. Let's get back to the video. The third thing that I did that I am so glad I did was I always promoted my songs after they were released. And to this day, I still believe that it makes no sense to promote music before it's out. Especially in today's age where people are scrolling on TikTok and they're seeing hundreds of artists all over the place, if your music is not immediately accessible for them, they are gonna forget about you within 24 hours. Also, a big plus of it being released first is that you can upload the audio to TikTok, Instagram, and then you actually have the official audio on those platforms that you can make videos to. And eventually, I actually had a few videos do really well. And again, those converted into monthly listeners, and for a while, I was just chilling. I think at my biggest, I hit something like 40,000 monthly listeners, and that leads me to what I did wrong and what I would do totally differently. The worst thing I did was when I had a few TikToks do really well, I posted that song multiple times, probably 10, 20 times, and I had people telling me, hey, stop promoting this song, it's getting repetitive, post something new, post something new. To this day, my biggest regret is not pushing that song 100 times harder, because anybody that is going to be a true fan of yours does not mind hearing it at all. They love seeing those videos. The only people that are gonna post about you posting too much about a song are people that aren't gonna listen to you anyway. And yet I let those voices get into my head and I stopped promoting my song. And that set me back a ton, because then I had to reinvent the wheel and come out with more music that I could do the same thing with. Until the video does not get views and it stops converting into streams, I'm gonna promote. The second thing I did wrong was I did not have a consistent style or a consistent brand throughout my journey. Where I started is not where I ended up, which is perfectly fine. But throughout, I was posting totally different genres of songs. I was looking completely different throughout my journey. My brand was totally all over the place and still is to this day, which leads me into what I am focusing on moving forward and what I'm gonna change. First thing I'm gonna do is really focus on having consistency with my style, consistency with my music. Because right now, if you went to my Spotify page and you listen to my music, you would be really confused about what kind of music I make, who I am as an artist. And yes, while I do have over 10,000 monthly listeners, I think it's at 13,000 right now, I still don't know who those people are. So I'm gonna focus more on branding consistency moving forward. The second thing I'm gonna focus more on going forward is getting to know my audience, connecting more with my audience. 10,000 people are listening to me every single month, and I cannot tell you a single one of their names. I don't know any of their email addresses. I don't have their phone numbers. I can't connect with my audience in any way whatsoever. That's something that I'm going to be changing moving forward, absolutely. Because when you have an email list, phone numbers, names, you can send them whenever you post a new song. You can send them merch sales. You can send them all the stuff. If you go on tour, any of that kind of stuff, having that information is super, super important. And I wish I'd done that from the start, but moving forward, that's something I'm really gonna focus on. And another thing I'm gonna change moving forward is I'm gonna focus more on paid ads. I only tried paid ads one time, and it did pretty well, but I never really focused on doing it because it doesn't necessarily convert monetarily immediately. Organic content is obviously king above all of it because it's free to make, and yet it can do really, really well and make you so much money. But what I like about paid ads is that I can retarget people. I can put that stuff in front of them. And I can use those kind of ads to get my fans' email, to get their phone number. And I like that I can consistently follow up and see who my fans are. So paid ads are gonna be something I'm gonna start experimenting with a little bit more, especially now that I have over 10,000 monthly listeners. I have some money coming in every month. I'm gonna take that money and reinvest it into paid ads and experimenting with those kind of things. And don't forget to go check out our free Skool community. Link is in the description. It's full of artists just like you who are trying to grow and want to have people to collaborate with. Until next time.